everybody, to session 36, New Horizons. We're going to start off as usual with our recap.
This recap is from the perspective of Java. So packed for success and ready to see something cool, party hit the road and made their way back to the tower in no time. On the way there, Nero mentioned a warning about ninja robots or robot ninjas. I don't remember. I wish she told us about those sooner. Before no time, the AI from last time found us again and wanted to play 20 questions. And being uneasy about it, couldn't decide if we were friends with the robot or not. And so I asked him to make a good cup of coffee. And he didn't even try because he was having too much fun asking questions. So I was really glad when Nero asked us to leave. Shortly we departed, and Angry Dragon led us towards the city that the tower assured us was uninhabited. Too bad that the tower had no idea what it was talking about, and now I know ninja robots are real. Wait, did Kay just tell him the city is ours now? ...
Good question. Yeah, we left on the note of the party having been led inside the lone standing structure at the center of the city by these guardians who seemed to accept Cade's claim that he was Kabuka nobility with the right to be here. And they've shown you into what looks like a command center that has clearly seen better days, has suffered severe damage, and is currently occupied only by a shriveled husk of a person sitting in a throne overlooking the entire theater of the room. Now, do you have any questions or things you would like your characters to do as we pick up where we left off?
Yep. I think Cade would probably start with um, requesting like a sit rep and detail of the purpose of the installation.
Okay. Let's see then. So, the lead robot would answer his question first succinctly. As far as sitrep goes, we have been. You would basically say that they've been on guard duty, just at basically maximum alertness, combat readiness, or centuries now, and that the building you're standing in is the forum at Had.
The what?
The forum at Hadria.
Nero looks over to Saoirse. What's that?
Saoirse's just gonna kind of like shrug her shoulders.
Isn't it one of your weird words?
Saoirse looks very confused at that. And then you see a moment of recognition, and she just looks. He's like, "Hey, bug it off."
Cade will ask for clarification on what the forum at Hadria is. He'll ask if it is a public building of some sort.
He would clarify, no, the forum was not precisely public, though any of the citizens of Hadria may request. Oh goodness, I'm blanking on the word. Not
Assembly.
council. There's a word like audience. Thank you. May request audience with the praetor at the forum.
Ah. So this is headquarters then.
Yes.
Cade will point at the corpse and ask, is that the remains of the praetor?
The I would say unclear. Allow me to confirm. And you will go ahead and begin the ascent up the center aisle that basically is a ramp up to the little elevated platform the throne sits on. It's over the center of the room. And approach the throne itself. And as it goes ahead and it basically starts doing a look over, inspecting the corpse. And after a minute or so, leans down and just it looks like to touch one of the corpse's hands very carefully. And then turns back around, begins walking back down, and then announces in a little bit of a raised voice that echoes slightly in the room. Identity confirmed. This is the corpse of Praetor Hispalis.
Thank you. So how should we go about confirming our right to be here?
He responds, Kadir, we've already confirmed your right to be here, or you would not have been allowed to enter.
Correction. The laying claim as salvage, not merely right to be present.
Yes. So out of character, just for point of my recollection, you did decide to go with the salvage rights argument.
Yeah, I felt like that made the most sense.
Okay.
At
So
least at the time.
yeah. So as he continues walking back to you, he responds, "Yes, your claim of salvage rights, unfortunately, must be denied. This facility has not been abandoned under the appropriate definitions of the statute."
Understood.
I'm not trying to defer too much, but I will say that Sersha, but in a much greater sense, myself, is very out of practice with political realm protocol. So she's going to definitely be looking to Cade a lot for what to do in this situation.
I think in this case, what Cade would do is look specifically at the robot who has been acting as liaison
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
and say, "May we speak with the commanding officer?" I assume that is actually you.
You would be correct.
Saoirse looks slightly more comfortable because commanding officer is a term that she's familiar with.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. So I'll open it up to the floor here. What do you think we should do? As a player, my thought would be that Cade would be interested in establishing a relationship with the surviving AI members of the facility
Oh, for sure.
and possibly um maybe offer in a way trade because they've been completely cut off. Um
Well,
and so
we also need information,
exactly.
hopefully more information from them. What on earth is their beef with the tower and whoever or whatever is in the tower, and then if they can give us any information on the space station.
Yeah, so
So
I'm
there's a
assuming that their beef with the tower is just that it's an unauthorized person.
I mean, that we could assume that, but for all we know,
But
the fortress could have been did specifically to ward off whoever.
yeah.
So feel like we could assume, yeah, it's always mental this person. They shoot first, ask questions later, yada yada. But I would much prefer if you could, since we've already been approved as acceptable company, if that comes with any amount of right to information or anything else that would be helpful, so we don't have to assume we can.
Yeah. That's
Including
where
sending
I'm
me
kind of leaning.
Huh?
That's kind of where I'm leaning as well.
Okay.
One thought that I have is that the station may not be Terran Mandate. Because if it speaks the same language as the tower, it may no longer it could have been hacked perhaps, or it could have been added after the fact. So yeah, getting a um any sort of public information that we could get
Well, for
based
all we
on
know, though, this could be a multilingual base, and they're just using Terran Mandate because it's common, right? Or am I wrong for thinking it would be like their default language to use with life forms that
I think it's worth asking about.
yeah, so I suppose we should start there then.
their show would
Cade
be like
will
really annoying Cade. She'd just be like tugging on his sleeve and being like cuddling and whispering.
he'll
And if he ignores her, she'll just keep whispering.
no he'll listen and he'll nod and I'll say so. We have several questions. Are you permitted to at least answer in regard to several things that don't appear to be Terran Mandate here?
So it pauses in its response, but then asks, "Could you clarify about what you are referring?"
Yes, and Cade will pull out his data slab and show the drone or the AI the footage of the tower, saying, "We found this tower on the other side of the city. Um, between this installation and the tower is mostly ruin and rubble. This is the only other standing structure we can find. It appears to be inhabited by an AI caretaker of some sort. that it is property of perhaps some scavenger who may or may not have had contact with this facility. Um, w- we have had to learn the language that this AI uses to communicate, and he'll play a sample um, or say a few words as example, and say, and we are uncertain of their origin, the species of who may own this facility, um, but the defense station in orbit appears to use this same language.
Ah, yes, I see. He watches the video footage that you're playing for him, and then says, "I am surprised you do not know of this. You speak the language, but you do not recognize it as the Voan tongue."
We did not know this tongue until recently, and only from speaking to the caretaker of the facility.
You
Saoirse's
learn
going to
quickly.
interject, actually, when he says the caretaker of the facility, and she'll say, caretaker, as far as we know, well, from what we know, they're at least just one of the drones. They did
True.
act a bit skittish at somebody possibly discovering they'd let us in.
The robot will say, "We have in fact had various encounters with who we suppose to be Voan survivors of the cataclysm. It might take some time to recount these. Do you have more specific inquest?"
Were they inhabitants of this world, or did they come from another?
I'm just
I
imagining like ring symbol on the face of the.
Yeah, it's kind of seems to be processing your question as worded is perhaps presents false dichotomy. Uh,
But are they native
but
to your
allow
planet?
me to uh, no. Excuse me, I'm processing. It
Saoirse will nod.
has been some time since I acquired the pathways of interpreting and responding to human questions. And then it eventually continues. uh, No, the Vo are not native to Hadria. Their homeworld is elsewhere. I'm not knowledgeable of the space of the charts that lead to their home. But these were, I do not know. Do not know if they were residents of Hadria or elsewhere.
We have had no um, dealings with the Voan in our recorded history, I believe. Is that something? I assume that would be like public knowledge that our characters would know that these aliens are not ones they've encountered since we didn't even know the language.
Yeah, there's no modern accountings of that anyone would know of off the top of their heads. Um,
He will ask the drone if the drone has any sort of, say, footage or pictures that would represent what the Bowen look like.
he processes for a moment. Um, I do, though. I do not know. I will require a moment to query the footage and present some that is scrubbed of sensitive information.
Thank you.
And kind of goes stiff, and the lights of his eyes begin flickering faintly and very quickly.
Cade will lean over to Saoirse and say, I bet they might be willing to trade for supplies. A couple hundred years without maintenance, I'm pretty sure we could offer them something of value pretty easily.
Saoirse will nod to that. This is definitely, in her opinion, the AI. What they met at the tower. That was mostly curiosity, she thinks. This does seem hospitable and amenable, so she's up for dating. I do whatever you think is best, but maybe keep information about ourselves to a minimum until we know exactly what their interplanetary relations.
Understood.
Well, they do at least seem to be friendly to whatever claim you have. Yeah.
Mhm. Um, Incidentally, I need a notice check from Nero.
Oh snap!
Gonna find that
She gonna
wig
get in
feather.
trouble. Oh man.
Not today, she ain't.
No.
She sees
No.
no. She's looking. She doesn't see any presence of any sort of bladed weapon. Apparently, can't really tell if they're any, basically slotted away inside their hands or arms or like that. Although,
There's Cade.
the slim, the long, slim, almost wing-like looking things that are uh, held that are currently retracted pretty close to their backs. They do look uh, slim and almost sharp enough that she imagines ways they might try to use them as blades. Her imagination wanders perhaps a bit.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, no visible blades. um, let's see. So, um, me if I can get this to copy. Mhm. Can do this here. Hmm. One sec here. This is technology's fighting me.
Man, if it fights you for much longer, I'm gonna take a bathroom break.
Sorry. Um.
Shoot,
So
what is this?
so
Hmm.
uh the the
Mm.
lead the apparent leader, commanding officer, comes out of his little reverie and holds up one hand and displays a bit of footage, kind of hologram style, that looks like um, a brief standoff from his point of view with an alien sort of creature, and it looks like it actually took place on the steps outside. With you can just barely kind of make out some of the rubble, pulverized rubble in the background, and kind of freezes it on a zoomed in bit of the individual's face. They're wearing something hooded, but their face is exposed enough to make out um, very, very much reptilian features, though obviously pretty humanoid, uh, and with four eyes and
Hmm.
pretty exotic coloration.
And they are definitely not Gakari
Definitely not.
then.
What are those? Uh,
Hmm.
so he presents that and says, "This is a Voan female that we encountered here at the forum."
Oh, thank you. This may be the one, perhaps, who owns the tower.
The the lights on the robot's face glow like a bit of a deeper red, and in a firm voice says, "No, this Vo is not the owner of the tower.
Oh, okay.
However, our the tower currently lies outside our well, is outside the area that we are sworn to protect and to secure. In fact, its function is limited. Connection with the forum has been severed, presumably during the cataclysm."
Um, Cade will also briefly pull up footage and say there appears to be a station in orbit that also speaks this Voan language, and it appears to be centered over the remains of the city and the tower and possibly this facility as well. Was that Terran mandate that was taken, or is this perhaps a Voan installation? And he'll pull up their footage as well as the challenge
Mhm.
that came from it. We are simply seeking to understand.
Yes, that is the Sentinel station. Uh, its status is unknown to me. We have not been contacted by anyone aboard the station, so I can only presume that whoever its caretakers may now be, they are not of the mandate.
Well, they're most likely not of the mandate. These are some of the challenges from the station, and he'll play a couple of the audio clips that he had recorded and say, so I presume it is under Voan control now.
The Vo are, and then he pauses. The Vo were aligned with the mandate. We had diplomatic relations with them. However, I do not have the clearance or authority to speculate on the current status of our diplomatic relations.
Understood. So, I guess Taryn would or Cade would then launch into a quick, like, 5-minute explanation of this is what happened to the mandate post cataclysm, so far as he knows of their sector, basically explaining that so far as he is aware that this is one of the few, if not only, still operating bases and facilities of the Terran mandate, that the uh, Vone are just unknown in the sector.
Could
And
you ask him how much time since the bone appeared and since
sure, and he can ask, like, when was the last time the Bowen appeared?
Yeah, let me see here. I should actually check that real quick here. Okay. Let's see. He would, if you ask him how long, you said how many years it's been
Yeah.
since the cataclysm. He says, yes, it has been approximately 555 years since the cataclysm.
So that is the last contact with the Bowen.
Quick player question. Nero would have no idea of this, but is that the exact amount of time since the scream?
That is, in fact, the year of the scream.
yeah, Saoirse
Yeah.
also recognized.
That's something that Cade would probably know, and possibly even Brother Nick. Both of them would have studied in the right circles, the right time to know a detail like that.
About
So they would be able to do the mental math and very quickly come to that conclusion.
Okay.
And Saoirse?
Then
Possibly.
As a psychic?
They
well, I think Cade would just say it once the drone confirms it's been that long. Cade would probably just nod his head and say, okay, so then they have not been seen since the scream. They must have been a psychic race then.
for Saoirse, I'll just say this. For various reasons, she most likely would not have learned that particular
Oh,
tidbit in
wow.
her formal education. She may have, it's possible that she could have randomly heard that bandied about sometime since then, but um, she would have had to go seek that information out herself.
Okay. I'm not sure if she would have sought out that information.
Yeah. But yeah, so Cade speaks up about it right away. And the the robot would say. Um, I know nothing of the Vo's activities since Cataclysm, but I believe you referred to the Scream.
Yes.
This is the common term for our Cataclysm, then
Correct.
I can tell you that this footage I'm showing you is from a does a seems to pause and do a quick calculation. 2 months and 17 days previous.
He's referring to footage of a Vaughn.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
what he showed you. So this was
Right.
this is really very recent in the grand scheme of things.
Um, I suppose then Cade would launch into his sales pitch about it's pretty impressive that they're still functioning after all this time, and that as um, a friendly gesture, that he and the captain, and he'll indicate Saoirse, are interested in trade. Um, that brother Nick has experience with repairs, and so too does our pilot, and we could possibly acquire materials that the bots are unable to um, retrieve, especially if it's something from off world. And that offer that they could potentially exchange goods and services back and forth.
Saoirse's definitely going to be good for that, especially if she hears that it's been 500 years since that race showed up. She would want to follow seeing them. How many years has it been since a living organic being has come to you knocking on your door? And
Sorry,
it's
living who being?
organic.
Living organics.
Oh, organics. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So we'd say this Bowen female has uh, graced our door um, repeatedly over many years.
They're telling me
I-
this
you-
this lady's donkey's years old. She's still around.
So
Sorry.
the
She'll see him buffering and she'll apologize. She's like, sorry, I was a little quick on that. You're still answering my question. When the last time she came by was.
yes, apologies for my lack of clarity. The last time she visited was 2 months and 17 days ago.
Saoirse's eyes are gonna be like huge. Um, is she living planet side?
She has expressed little interest in trade or other exchange of information. She has only made various attempts to lay claim or request entry to the forum.
What exactly does she seem to be interested in to be coming here all these 500 donkeys years, whatever?
That I could not tell you.
Saoirse's gonna give him a look. Are you telling me you don't have any curiosity for
Sorry you cut out there, but Curiosity about her motives.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, my curiosity is immaterial to my post, and she was unresponsive to my questions regarding her intentions.
Saoirse's gonna look concerned at this news that one, this particular person has lived that long and has come around that often. Um, but that they came around 2 months ago. So she'll eventually,
Hmm.
after a moment, unless Kate or someone else interrupts, she'll ask, uh, what's the average between visits, average length of time that is?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that last. Did you ask another question of it?
Yeah, she was asking what was the average time between visits.
Oh, okay. Let's see. It would it would briefly do some calculating. Let's say uh, the average time between visits was 7 months, 4 days. Spacing between her visits was highly irregular. I believe she was attempting to confuse or perhaps to deceive.
Now, can I get a clarification? Because I think I may have missed a beat here. Is he saying that that Vone he showed us footage of, who's been around like recently, within the last several months, was it actually is 500 years old?
That's what he seems to be implying, yeah.
Oh wow, I did miss that.
Yeah, my current working theory is that she's the caretaker of the orbital station. Um, Kate will ask,
Hmm.
do you know if there is a frequency or a protocol that we could use to perhaps contact her? I do not know if this is wise, but
I know of no such thing.
Does she tend to use mandate when she's speaking with you, or is there another language she uses? Does
She
she
has
only
tried
speak to you in
several.
Wyrm? She's tried several.
Yes, she has attempted to use Mandate and Voan and several other lesser human tongues.
Do have one important question for you. When the Vaughn appeared on this planet, was it before, during, or after this cataclysm that befell your planet? And two, were the Vaughn at all responsible for it?
oh,
Sorry, I'm like partly I am slow on the uptake tonight. The first question was what about the cataclysm?
Okay, first question. When the Vaughn first appeared,
Hmm.
was it before, during, or after the cataclysm
Oh,
you're referring to?
talking about this specific one,
The one that
the
he
specific
named,
individual.
cataclysm
Okay,
he
yeah.
named. And
I,
then two, is there any evidence to suggest that the Vaughns were in any way related to the cataclysm?
I would say that he doesn't have any recollection or record of her visiting before the cataclysm. Um, and he would say he doesn't know who was responsible for it. Um, all he knows is that it was quite sudden and almost almost complete destruction that was given was prefaced by no warning whatsoever.
It's cataclysm. Are you talking about? Did it involve the psychics on your?
He would answer, "I do not know what the cataclysm may have involved. Only know that it came from space. It originated from above and descended upon our city in an instant."
She's trying to decide if he's talking about the scream or. I mean, it lines up with the scream.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah, he
ask?
doesn't seem.
Saoirse will ask Cade. She'll look at the bot and she'll just say, if you wouldn't mind giving us just one moment, I have some questions for my crew, Mr. Kadir here as well.
Of course, you may converse amongst yourselves.
Many thanks, many thanks. And she's gonna pull Cade what she thinks is an appropriate distance away from the box.
Mhm.
And she'll motion like really um energetically to Narrow and Cade to get them back to where they. Is Tom with them right now?
Tom has stuck close by with Saoirse.
Uh,
By the way, Narrow unfortunately has found no obvious turrets, cameras, wall lasers, or robot ninja shoots.
Okay, that's good.
How about Java?
He has not found any either.
And Nero didn't
Sarah
go
will.
far, so she didn't have to be waved back too vigorously.
Well,
Sarah-
Kate will probably look at Nero and be like, "What? What do you? Why are you frowning at me?"
We'll talk about it later.
Ah. Okay.
Oh my. Saoirse looks a little confused at that, but she's not gonna say anything. Um she's just making a mental note now, updating her mental chart of Narrow's relations with all the crew members and just adding more question marks to the chart.
He's just gonna shrug. Be like,
Um,
okay.
she's like, "All right, first it was Java, now Cade." Like, it's insatiable. But then she's gonna just say, "All right, listen, Cade has an idea about us trading services with these bots, and I honestly think these lots are a lot nicer than whatever drone that was you guys followed skipping and singing into that tower. Cade, what were you thinking we could trade?"
The drone was at least honest. It told us what it couldn't tell us.
Saoirse looks at her.
But we also don't know the drone's ulterior motives.
We don't know their ulterior motives. She
Yeah,
motions with her
I
head
they
towards the robots.
I don't think they have much in the way of ulterior motives.
They're robots.
Nero,
They
they're
have programming. They have orders.
Yes, their programming is to secure and defend this forum.
They're 500 years old.
Yes, and they probably need parts and maintenance, and
If they're as advanced as you say they are, how do you know they won't just take over another world?
I don't think that
It's
their
not in
programming
their
would allow that. Yeah,
I
Did you
missed.
see Praetor, what's his manky face over there rotting away? They didn't even bother clearing that out. And you think they're gonna take over the world? Also, it's a barren wasteland out there other than the aliens we brought in. And apparently now what's her face that's been looping around for 500 years. There's
and
nothing
also Nero,
to take
I
over.
don't believe they can construct new ones. I believe these are all the units that existed before. This isn't enough to take over a planet.
Nero shuts her mouth.
They could do damage, yes. But if they're not programmed for curiosity, they're also not programmed to dominate. They're also not programmed to expand.
Crosses her arms.
Brother Nick, you got anything to add to this? What are your feelings about these bots? Saoirse's hoping that Brother Nick will at least have a neutral ground on this to make Nero travel.
After some pondering, I think I'd say, well, so far their programming seems to have confined them to this. What do they call it?
The forum?
This forum, and I think as long as we're careful, I don't think we'll do anything to change that. I don't seem to have any greater ambitions other than fulfilling their programming. We should exercise caution, as we don't fully understand it's all the parameters they may be working off of.
Saoirse would nod at that. We can definitely proceed with caution. But I think our best bet is to trust them. At least as much as we've seen we can.
And they do live here, so they'll have to get along with all their new neighbors. This abandoned planet is getting more inhabited by the day.
That's for sure.
Hey, kid. Random question. Do you think Boris would enjoy living here?
Probably.
With a bunch of humorless robots?
I think it could be arranged.
Did
It
he
would
say
be
that
out of the Gakari's reach.
And did he say that the building itself can protect us from radioactivity? Was I imagining?
Yes.
She's gonna let out like a low whistle. Well, yeah. I guess it's a little too late to get a refund on that pod we dropped out. But if you could find a way for us to trade with them on this, or if we find a way to find out. Oh, sorry, I'm rambling on now. But if we could find a way to determine if they're trustworthy or not, I think they might be more than happy to have some skill around here, helping with whatever their wants and woes. Especially if they're as long in the tooth as whatever praetor over there watching away is.
Sure. I will see what I can do.
One more thing. If they have any kind of record of the cataclysm itself, we need to find a way to get them.
Okay. They seem to be willing to exchange that. I don't think that would be a problem.
And maybe a tour would be nice.
Sure.
So kind of ham that up a little bit. Like
Cade
sort
will
of,
smile
but
and
it would be pretty cool to see around more.
yeah, Cade will smile and back up a little bit and say, "I suppose I shall get to it then." So he'll walk back to the bots and say, "Oh, we have a couple of questions and negotiations that we would like to attempt with you. We have an associate who has been seeking a place of asylum. He wishes peace from the wars in this sector, and has not found much success. We were going to place a sort of bunker somewhere here where he might live, but it is also lonely. As you know, humans are social creatures. Would you and your squad be willing to provide asylum for him?
Hmm. What is his citizenship status?
I don't think I don't think Cade knows that.
He would know that Boris is not from any of the systems that he's been to. Not Anagras, not any of the local ones either. He's from some other distant system uh, in the home sector of Anagras.
Cade will frown a bit and say, "I am
You'd
not
like
certain."
to go ahead and give me an administer check.
Okay. Time to admin it up. Not bad.
Okay. So I think Cade would pretty quickly piece together that the question is in the context of mandate citizenship, which
Right.
is very likely um, he's probably 99% sure that Boris has no standing or no status as far as mandate citizenship goes.
Yeah, so he'll probably say, "I'm not absolutely sure. However, I'm confident he does not have standing with the Terran mandate."
then the robot will respond. Um, of, if your associate is accompanied by yourself, then he may be granted entry, but uh, otherwise, the immediate premises of the forum are off limits to him. However, the ruins of the city itself, those are outside of our purview. As long as he poses no threat to our charge, then we will have no dispute with him.
What if he could be of assistance? He does have technical skills.
That would be appreciated, though I infer from what you've told me and from what I can see, I would be surprised if his technical expertise helps much. That also requires an exception of a caliber I am not authorized to make.
Ah. I am assuming that exception would be coming from a commanding officer then.
Matter that bag of bones over there in the chair.
That bag of bones is the Praetor Hippolyta. She would be authorized to make such an exception.
Like,
However, she is deceased.
What are the policies for when all commanding officers are deceased?
I have not confirmed that all commanding officers are deceased.
Oh, you mean off-world?
That is correct.
Well, this is the first time I have spoken with a representative of the Terran Mandate in my entire life. Um,
Um,
if
the-
you are capable of your own maintenance, we would be willing to exchange goods, services, and information to that end.
that would be acceptable. And we will also interject concerning your worldliness. I might remind you that you also have never encountered a Voan.
Why, that's a fair shot she got.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the eventuality that all commanding officers are deceased, then yes, certain in
You willing to take interim authority until proven otherwise?
perhaps, though that will require considerable evidence
Well,
and a pressing need.
I'm not sure we have that level of evidence yet, boss.
so look thoughtful.
So far, I have also seen no need to to exercise emergency powers, and unfortunately not for the sake of your associate either.
do believe we need to loop our friend in with his new neighbors. Be
Yep, I believe so too. Um, Cade
May have,
will.
it, it interjects. You may, of course, submit an application for asylum as usual. However, even an accepted application would not grant entry to Forum on a permanent basis.
Okay. Cade will say, "Are you aware of and have you had any dealings with a race called the Gakari?"
a good question.
um,
Loaded question.
he says, I have no record or recollection of an encounter with such a species.
Cade will pull
Would
up.
you clarify the spelling of that race? And
Uh,
you can go ahead and do that out of character if you want.
sure. Cade will
Make him do it in
verify.
character. Pop quiz.
Cade will verify the spelling, and he will also pull up like whatever little pictures he has saved from when he was sifting through the intel they stole from the base of the different kinds of known Ikari,
Okay.
in case visual identification is easier.
Let's see. The he'll take a look, and you said you were going to pull up uh which information?
Like some of the pictures from the intel that they stole from the base
Right. Okay.
on the
Gotcha.
different sorts of Gakari.
All right.
I like that you just have this on your black slab. Just
Yeah,
intel
yeah,
we
man.
stole.
I
High
mean he's got a
security
backup.
military base.
He's got a backup of their star charts with the Nagris. Like he's got
Oh yeah, he's got.
a variety of stuff on there.
If you guys ever get
Adding it.
say if you guys ever get detained or taken into custody, step one needs to be to smash that black slab into a million pieces.
Just eats half of it. Just
Immediately proves Java's suspicions, right? She can't eat anything. Oh boy.
Please.
Yeah, so Cade pulls out the black slab and scrolls through several pictures and some of the information. And the robot says, these are not familiar, though he points at one of the ones and a picture of one of the worker drones. Says that creature does bear some vague resemblance to an aquatic species native here to Hadria.
did he just call the planet Hadria?
Yes, he did.
Sorry, he actually would have said Aruz Gorkupiets. I mixed that
Oh.
up in my own head.
Dadgummit. Thought we were making breakthroughs.
Yeah. I suppose then Cade will explain that as far as they know, the Gikari were discovered on Tabuk, possibly a crashed ship of some kind that had been there for a long time, and then exploited in a evil way, and we have helped them to escape. This was the only planet that he and the team could find where they wouldn't be a threat to other organics, as well as wouldn't be threatened by other organics.
Okay.
And he'll indicate that their territory is well outside of the city,
Well
and that
outside.
several of their drones have disappeared in this direction. He guesses due to the tower or its owner or the Voan.
Okay. Yeah, he would respond that he has not seen any individuals of this species before. He'll say,
"Oh, do we still have the information from the Torque? The translator Torque?"
you're talking about the one you used to kind of try to help learn a bit of the Jakari language?
Yeah, because we could potentially give that to the drone so that the drone could then incorporate the language so it could actually speak to, so that the robots could speak to the drones and warn them off and not have to fight.
Okay. Now, to clarify, the drones they're kind of they're the lobster puppies.
Mhm.
The wolves are the ones that went missing in the vicinity of the city. But yeah, you could definitely share that data with the robot guardian here.
Okay, so Cade will say, "Here, this is a preliminary translator Torque translation matrix that you could use to communicate with them. I don't think they have any need to approach or encroach on Terran Mandate territory.
Okay.
But it should enable you to maintain neutrality with them."
Mm-hmm. He'll readily accept it, and he'll take the translator Torque in hand, and we'll say, "My thanks, Kadir. Your gesture of goodwill is appreciated."
Out of character, do we have any other objective at this point, or should we move on?
Maybe we move on soon, but definitely wanted to miss the opportunity we have here to get a lot of solid information. But yeah, I feel like we've been well, not quite beating a dead horse, but we're definitely getting soon.
Yeah.
And you and I have been doing most of the talking.
Yes.
And Dex and Ethan have been whiling away in the background, which I think will be so.
Oh, don't worry. Nero will have words later.
Yeah.
I know that. Uh, um, but yeah, I can't think of really any other objective. Although maybe Cade would, before they leave, he would probably turn back to the AI and clarify that his objective wasn't really to seek salvage rights, but was simply hoping to establish contact in a relationship since he was not fully aware of his citizenship.
Okay. He'll respond to that. Thank you, Kadir, for the clarification. Uh, may I ask then, how are you not aware of your citizenship?
Cade will think about it for a moment and explain that Tabuk has established itself as an independent monarchy in the sector.
Ah, I see that
And he will indicate the tattoo and say it is now exclusive to uh, the nobility, and I at least was not informed that it meant Terran Mandate citizenship.
this is interesting news of the colony on Tabuk, that it has become self-governed. That it has,
Most planets have, in the absence of the Terran
Yeah.
Mandate, and there are still some people who do want to try and reclaim the unity that the Terran Mandate. It's just not a very popular opinion, given what happened 500 years ago when humanity was unified. Some people believe that it was judgment from a higher being, as humans are wont to believe.
so the robot will continue that line of questioning and ask, Kadir, since you did not know of your citizenship, but you did note that this is a mark of nobility on Tabuk.
I'm sorry,
Would
I
you like to know
missed
more?
that.
He basically saying, since you didn't know about your citizenship, you just knew that you thought it was just a mark of your nobility on Tabuk. Um, he asks, would you like to know what information is stored on your insignia?
Oh,
Yes. Can you tell me how to retrieve that information from it?
He says, I am not certain that you possess the technology to do so, as your equipment so far appears to be quite he pauses, um, obsolete. But
I am still willing to try.
he takes a step towards you and says, "I," he says, "I retrieved it when I confirmed your identity upon your arrival. I could recount it for you if you would like, and perhaps I could transfer the data to your data slab."
Please.
All right. So he repeats then. Um, Let me make sure I have this all in the right order so it's kind of more intelligible.
That's good because you know we're gonna hold you accountable to whatever you post.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Do 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 do. All right. Let me put this here and okay. So there's the information given is fairly brief. Go ahead and post it in session chat. And there's some sort of other stuff, basically just more unknowns. But it relates to him that he is registered as Kadir Methodius Breckenridge, patrician of House Hispalis, and the rest is uh, blank. It seems like there's some uncertainty about if some of the other data is corrupted, but it's some of it is either unreadable or absent.
As soon as he says that, Java basically just as loud as he can, he's like, "Say, do me next."
He turns toward Java, gives him an ostentatious once over, and says, "Apologies, my good man. You possess no insignia."
Okay. Thanks for trying.
You are welcome. um, so yeah, relates that to you, and then he reaches over, um, briefly touches your data slab, and you get a little notification on it of a file received, and it's just a file that includes that that information he just told you, and just a bit of apparent gibberish appended to the end of it.
Thank you. I will see if I can decipher the gibberish.
You are welcome to try. I am. It is not clear to my reading, but then says, "No, of course you do not have to leave right away. Of course you are granted access to the forum. and those under your under your immediate care. Uh, Indefinitely. There's no time limit on your audience with the forum.
I appreciate that. We should still get back. We will probably visit again soon with our friend, so that you may meet him.
Saoirse will actually give a bit of a bow to the robot, just something she'd seen commanding officers do to fellow officers. She was in the military, and she'll stand up straight again and tell it, "Thank you very much for your hospitality and the information we were able to get from you while you were here. It's been enlightening and a pleasure."
Mm. He says, "Of course, it is my duty to serve. But, Kadir, please, when you return, if you can bring information regarding the whereabouts or the ultimate fate of the I guess he would say it as the others in my chain of command, then that would be most helpful to my completion of my duties."
I will see what I can find. I may need records from off-world, perhaps. It depends on what I have cached.
Of course. And please do return soon. And if you're making to leave, he would make a, s- a slight bow toward Kadir, and the other robots would make the same gesture.
Cade will bow back. Never hurts to be polite.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Back to base, boss.
She'll kind of glance quickly over at the robot to see if it had any kind of reaction to Cade calling her boss, but um, she'll nod. Um,
No, I was already aware of the fact that you were captain in that relationship.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
it made its bow to Kadir specifically.
I was pretty sure of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to make no change in its demeanor toward Saoirse for knowing that she was
She's
a captain.
she's more
Not so
relieved.
subtle shade.
Yeah, well, she's more relieved of it not changing its demeanor than she thought she would be. um, she didn't know if that would offend some sort of programmed sense of propriety or not. Um, since it knows Kate is nobility and whatnot. Um, so she'll say, you need to suit up and get back, and we've got a lot to discuss. And especially, she'll at that last bit kind of look at Tom and make sure he knows that she plans on including him in that discussion.
Okay.
So I guess we usher people out at this point.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you can all file on out. The guards will escort you out. You all leave your second set of tracks in the dust on your way out.
Cool.
Again, triggering the alarms, both Nero and the robots themselves. And once you all are outside down the steps and boarding or loading up on the slingshot again, the guardians will they'll line up on the landing where they'd greeted you, and they'll salute in unison, and then return to their neutral poses and watch you take off, bumping along over the rough rubble.
I think Cade will poke Nero while they're on the way back and say, "Hey, Nero, it's later. What's going on?"
Hang on real quick. Let me finish typing one thing real fast.
Sure.
Okay. She looks over at Cade. A little uncertainty in her face. Cast that glance across to Sirish as well.
Can I also ask real quick before this conversation ensues? A question to Ben. The way that we're arranged on, is it called the slingshot?
Yes.
The thing we're on? Okay. Like who's driving? I'm assuming Java.
Well, it's definitely not Cade. You don't
Yeah.
want Cade.
Java would
Like-
almost insist to drive if anyone else even tried.
Yeah, Saoirse. Okay, so probably Java, probably Saoirse shotgun. Remembering the last time Java was driving. And then where would the rest of the party be on the slingshot? Just because I'm wanting to know, like, realistically what anyone could hear at all, or if they're having to use, like, comms to talk to each other because they're in these suits.
Oh, we probably got to use comms to just talk to each other.
Right. Got you. So it's going to be
Yeah.
Narrow and
she's-
Fader just on private comms with each other. Okay, that's fine.
Well, Cade probably would have not been thinking about needing it to be on private comms, so he probably would start it with public comms, and then if she looks at him and is like looking uncomfortable, he'd be like, "Okay, go to channel B." Like,
No, it's well. I mean, he might do that, but she's gonna end up in the general channel anyways.
oh, okay,
I'm having
that's true.
working in Target, like too close to home.
Yeah, even if Cade assesses her look as a private thing, we've seen Nero's history with these with comms. They're
Yeah,
open all too often.
true.
She still a little bit of hesitation in her voice. Why are we trusting them so much?
The robots?
Yes.
Well, unlike people, these robots don't appear to be the kind that can lie easily. They have a set of instructions that they follow.
Do you know what those
They may
instructions
be-
are?
Well, they said some of them. They are defenders of that forum. I do not know too much beyond that, but they're also intelligent enough that I'm very confident that they would not start a fight. They're a peacekeeping force, perhaps. You might look at Saoirse at that one, or Brother Nick.
Do
If
we
we
Who's
think
looking
they
at
might be
me
trying
and
to
why?
kill us? Oop.
Sorry, Saoirse spoke over Java. She just kind of turned around in the seat and just say, "Who's looking at me and why?" Because she had like half tuned out of the conversation and then heard her name come up.
what
It'll
did
say,
Java say?
Java asked if the robots were trying to kill them, because
no.
previously he assumed that Nera was cool with the robots, so now he's unsure.
No, the robots would have killed us if we tried to invade, and I did not have citizenship for being able to enter. But Nero was asking boss why we're trusting the robots so much, and I was explaining that they seem to be more on a peacekeeper assignment, perhaps.
All of us are nothing except for you.
Just
Well,
because we don't
apparently,
have any kind of citizenship doesn't mean we're nothing.
They won't let Boris in.
Think of it like having a key to a door. Cade just happens to have a key on his skin, and that's, that's a good way of things shaking out as far
And
as I'm concerned.
and what if giving them stuff to make repairs makes their door bigger?
I mean, I don't think the size of the door affects the
I mean the
efficiency of the
house.
lock.
What if they decide more of this planet is their house, and you need a key to enter it?
I guess then it would be a matter of making sure we know their protocols and the way they've been programmed. That seems more like a Java. Seems more like a Java, maybe a Kadir way of going about things would be to find out what their limits are.
They
I
still
think
think it's
brother.
500 years ago.
Oh, they don't think that it's still 500 years ago. They just have been cut off from everything off planet except for this Vorn woman.
But
So,
they're looking for their commanding officers. They're all dead.
right. Well, they don't know that.
People don't live 500 years.
correct, but they do have children, Nero, and that is the reason the robots need to understand that no one who would have inherited the chain of command has it.
Can we hack the robots?
That might be too difficult, Java. I don't know that I could do it.
But you offered to let me work on them, so I was thinking I could just tell them that they haven't shut down in a long time and we need to restart them so they work good. And then while I was doing
And
that,
all
Did you see how it
Yeah.
reacted when Cade was trying to figure out the goobledygook they sent onto his compad? It was amused. I mean, it's like letting a child try and figure out a puzzle in their eyes.
yes.
so we got to turn the
I
tables.
think they would
on.
only reboot one unit at a time. I don't think we could take the rest. I don't think we should.
I agree.
Nero has shut her mouth again and is kind of just watching the landscape roll by.
But Nero, what if we could liberate them somewhat from their current restrictions and have them as allies and friends. Would it not be cool to fight with an 8-foot tall war robot next to you?
We don't know anything about them.
I didn't know anything about you when I joined the crew.
But you learned.
Right. That's what we're doing.
You offered them stuff to repair them before anything else.
Nero,
As I would offer you a
you
med kit.
you once spoke to me with quite a passionate tone about how I should be offering to heal people no matter what.
People, not
Mm.
robots.
Saoirse's gonna look at the back of Nero's helmet for a while and just kind of recall the tidbits that she does know about the war that Nero had to fight in her own planet, and knows that mechs and robots featured pretty largely in that. So she's getting a sense that this mistrust goes a little deeper than just the drone versus the robots. And she eventually will speak up if no one else does and just say, you don't have to change your mind immediately, Nero. I mean, I appreciate you voicing your concern, but do you think Cade is an idiot?
I just want us to be careful.
I
And sometimes,
agree. I
yes.
think we all.
Oh, well, thanks, Nero.
He's good. Well, listen, I sometimes think the poor bloke's an idiot too, but as far as, what he's capable of, I really do think he's not an idiot. I think he's quite smart, and I think he's also trying to be careful because he also doesn't want to end up dead on some godforsaken, irradiated planet. So I trust Kadir to be safe and cautious, and I don't think he's going to be making deals with people or robots that would hurt us. And I also think he wasn't going to trust the first robot to, curtsy to him either. So give Kadir and maybe myself some credit. We're not going to just waltz in there and scrape over ourselves to get a bullet through the eyes. Or the chest. She'll, kind of nod at Jabba.
Oh.
If he's quiet, she'll kind of wince and then she'll be like, was that too soon?
Yes.
Sorry.
You were just being cleverer. You weren't really offering them repairs just without knowing anything more about them then.
Correct. And basic things, not like shipping them armament.
Nero has a. She's looking out the window. Not the window because we don't have windows on this thing. She's looking off the side again, but oh wait, she's not wearing a helmet, so you can see that her. Yeah, she's wearing a sheepish face. She has sheep on her face.
Sheep all over that face.
And Nero, it was more of the idea of a sale. I will sell you some materials and help with repairs in exchange for. I'm certain there are things they have that are of value to us. Look at what we've learned just today.
She nods and shrugs. They can
I
see
plan to
my
bring
weapons.
back. Yes. See how far we have fallen. I plan to bring back a data unit with us next time. Get any of the footage that we can actually carry. I don't think my data slip would have space for it if there's information from the stream. That would be a gold mine in trade.
Well, knowing no other way to pry herself out of her own mouth here, Nero looks around for her backpack.
Saoirse would also, while Nero's looking around trying to figure out how to get herself out of this situation, she would say, "Oh, now you're making sales." Just like striking up conversation with Cade, like kind of giving him a hard time.
Well, I did sort of deal in information before this.
That's one way to put it.
Keep my hat in the game, I suppose.
I'm gonna have to start keeping track of how many hats you wear around here.
Where's my rice cakes?
They're inside Bob.
You think you could hold off from irradiating yourself and all the snacks until we get back to the ship?
I don't want a rice cake from Bob.
Saoirse goes to pinch the bridge of her nose and then realizes she can't because of the helmet. And just like,
Clonk.
yeah, you hear a frustrated like through the comms, and then she starts pushing out on the pants of her suit, basically like trying to rub a spot off her pant leg.
How long do I have to wait for food then?
I only packed 2, Nero. If we eat them real quick, they'll be good still. No radiation. But you gotta share one with me. That's why I packed 2.
I'll wait. Saoirse knows the medical stuff. And she eyes Saoirse suspiciously.
Suspiciously?
Yes. She is given Nero that suspicious look.
It's like, you better be telling me the truth and not just tricking me into not eating rice cakes right now.
Okay. I'm gonna just let's figure this out. Can I roll for knowledge about radiation? Radiation. My brain can't English right now.
Irradiated rice cakes.
Yeah, basically. Like,
That's a thing.
how long would they have to be exposed from Bob to them opening their visors to eat it?
Sorry, what was this about Bob?
That's what
The
they named
empty
the parachute
suit.
that they shoved full of snacks.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry, I was
Yeah.
forgetting that piece of context.
Yeah, Java.
I
named
was
the
half
suit.
hoping you guys had dragged that thing into the forum with you. So I was thinking, like, how weirded out would that robot be if they just cracked open this suit and start eating snacks from inside it, like some kind of robot fever dream, like, and my programming must have, like, something must be wrong.
Nero wants nothing to do with Bob.
I was hoping that would happen too, but it never did.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's to future robot fever dreams inflicted by Java.
We don't have to unpack Bob.
What? Why not?
I mean, he could always be packed up and ready to go. Then we can have like a portable person that's actually food.
No.
It's out of
That's
character.
basically
Oh. Okay.
everybody, as long as you're talking about cannibalism.
So is it actually okay if we do eat rice cakes from Bob, Ben?
Let's see. Yeah, go
I
ahead
don't
and
think
give
Ben
me
told me
a
if I could roll for knowledge about whether or
give
not
me
these
a
snacks would be irradiated.
give me a heal with intelligence check from Saoirse.
All right.
Oh, I love that Jeff.
That is weird. I'm with the second dog.
Oh boy.
Wow. Find that, Ethan.
Oh man, that's a classic.
Yeah, I've seen
Wow.
that one a few times before.
I've never seen that.
It's a
Yeah,
combination of two Jeffs looped together because those aren't the same.
yeah. No,
But
they
it's
aren't.
so genius.
Sure, but like,
But yeah,
it's
just
perfect.
It is.
just search everything is cake, and you'll find some pretty bonkers stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen some bunker stuff with that, but anyway.
Okay, so you've seen some of that. You've seen the
I haven't
light,
ever
not that
seen
specific
the two looped together. It's so good.
one. Yeah, that's that's good. Let's see. Okay.
There's an Among Us one.
So, Saoirse doesn't know just a ton about highly irradiated environments, other than she knows that the ration packs that you all take are, rated for extreme environments. But she's not sure what would happen if you opened up food and ate it in that environment, and
She's just
particularly
gonna
that this is an
basically, yeah, that this is an unusual situation. She's basically, if Narrow, like, if she feels Narrow, like, staring holes into the back of her head and they keep talking about the snacks, she's just gonna say, um, I may just decide not to heal some of them tumors off of you if you keep making idiot decisions.
You two should
Might
go
just
back to
leave on
fighting
hanging
again.
around.
Stop picking on me.
Is she saying to me?
Yeah, she says that to everyone. She's on the all comms.
Yeah.
Oh, and yes, she is looking at Saoirse to say that. There's a slight grin on her face, an annoyed grin on her face. You've been better. You to do something.
Been better than what?
You're not fighting anymore.
Saoirse's got like the doot, 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 like loading, like computing look on her face. I'm sorry, what are you talking about? She was talking over Narrow for a lot of what Narrow was saying, so she didn't quite understand what she was.
Nara looks at her even more suspiciously, and then she looks over at Cade. Denying it too much. You did.
Did what?
What?
Kid like genuinely looks confused now.
I told Cade to talk to you, just to talk.
Oh,
Nothing else.
yeah, we talked.
What do you mean, nothing else?
Brother Nick
Saoirse's eyes are
Gibson
gonna narrow.
smacks me and Java on the head every time he thinks we so much as touch hands.
Narrow.
Kate will face
There's gonna be
palm
like
and you
an edge of like danger to Saoirse's voice, but like just a hint of it when she says Narrow's name.
Who's sitting next to who?
So Saoirse's
Like,
in the front
suddenly
seat
recording.
next to Java, and she had like turned. She's got like her head on like, sorry, her hand on like the headrest of her seat, and the other one kind of like on the side of her seat because she's like turned fully around and is looking at Narrow.
And I'm
Nice.
picturing Nero on the driver's side of the rear, with Cade in between because but Nero and easy way. Nero and Brother Nick with easy ways to get off the vehicle.
Hold on, we've got to map this out. This is important information. This is happening.
About to roll
Alright.
for initiative here.
Oh my word, yeah. Hold on. Freehand here. Okay. So,
Where is this
Are there
going?
six 6 seats on this little thing?
There are in fact 6 seats.
We can
Uh,
put it
Okay.
right between the two arms of the Prudence.
There you go.
So I was actually going to clarify. It's actually 2 rows of 3 seats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, so
2
there's
rows of
actually
3
3
seats.
seats in the front too.
Darn it.
Mhm.
That's not an accurate depiction anymore.
Hmm.
Right. Oh,
Do you want to? So we can just make a square. And
yeah, you got this, Ben.
That's
or like
that's wide. I kind of I kept picturing the Stingray as a fairly thin vehicle.
a slingshot.
Oh
I mean,
no!
I was
I
gonna say.
just saw Cade's comment. So in roll 20, when Cade realizes what Nero means by nothing else, he chokes a bit audibly over the comms. I really want to know where everyone
Like in
is sitting.
parallel with Saoirse's reaction though. Like she's like Nero, and Kate's just like kind of choking in the background. Like, really?
Okay, and then Tom's over there. So I was almost right.
mhm. And then
Saoirse has turned fully around and is glaring. So she's not sure. Are the visors like at all like polarized, or are they clear on the helmets?
they are, but I mean they're translucent enough you can see through them, and
All right,
the light condition at the moment is such that yeah you can all see each
all
other's
right. I'm
faces.
guessing Nero is also talking to Cade, so I don't even know if she sees the look on Saoirse's face, but she is just like locked onto Nero.
She's looking at both of them.
Even with Cade choking, she is not going to look at Cade. She is looking at Nero.
Java would probably say, Saoirse, you're doing it again.
What are you talking about? And she will like look over at Java and with a confused look on her face. What are you on about?
Nero has Kareem.
Oh no!
Saoirse's like totally confused right now. Yeah, I'm very aware of Kareem and Nero's relationship, as I, had to lead the horse to water, so to say, in that situation. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything going on right now.
Okay.
What are you on about? What are and she's gonna be just like at this point, she's at a loss for words.
Fluttering.
She's right scundered.
It's Gundered.
I think we're all right scundered right now.
Well, she's embarrassed, if that's another word for it.
Okay.
So, like Bob in the back there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for labeling Bob.
Oh,
Bob
yeah, no problem.
matters.
I missed that.
I'm glad you two are getting along again.
Saoirse's hair is just at this point like the same color as her face. Or sorry, is the same color. Yeah, so her face is the same color as her hair at this point. Just like she doesn't even know where to begin with anything that Nero's saying, and then Java's addition.
Cade will Kate's just gonna like elbow Nero and be like, "Come on, Nero. Didn't you have siblings? Arguing doesn't mean you don't get along."
That
We
was
talk and like grown-ups and Saoirse's gonna like throw her hands up and turn around and just like sink as low as the straps in her chair will allow her to.
Pretty low.
Brother Nick will turn to smirk at her and say, "If it helps, Captain, I'm not interested in anyone. No one less person to worry about."
Saoirse will just put both gloved hands over the eyes of her visor and will herself to sink into the chair.
What about Tom?
Saoirse is now burning in her suit and she's just gonna like scream, "Do we need to establish?" And her like voice is starting to crack a little bit. Like it's like the romantic
Do you need a
status of
hug?
everyone on the ship. Is that really important?
I love rice cakes.
Thank you. I'm so glad to know your orientation is towards rice cakes, Java. That makes things right, Gran. Thank you.
Oh, you weren't serious.
Saoirse's gonna look at him and just look away and not say
There, now Bob has eyes.
oh my word. Please tell me that Nero
Googly
was
eyes.
drawing on the visor of Bob while we're having this
No.
conversation.
Nero really wants nothing to do with Bob.
Oh boy.
Saoirse, after a little bit of silence, is just going to say to Java, by the way, she's like, I'm very happy, by the way, for Kareem and Nero. I'm not sure why you thought to bring that up, or what it is you think I keep doing again. But I'm right chuffed that they're together, though sometimes I wonder if Nero remembers that they're together. And she'll give a sidelong look to Nero behind Java,
I don't have any other
glancing between the
boyfriends.
two of them.
I just meant that we could be happy for other people too.
Happy? Who are we supposed to be happy for? Nothing is going on.
Well, that hug did make you smile.
Saoirse's head will whip around so fast at Cade.
I held you like finger gun. Gotcha.
It's gonna be glaring daggers at him right now.
See, Nero, everything's normal. Just talk like adults.
Saoirse's gonna very ostentatiously reach up to her comms on the side of her visor and
Turn it off.
turn it off.
Yep.
Well, then she has spared herself from Nero's subsequent "I'm hungry."
Pass the snacks. Why did we pack Bob?
But what about Bob?
How long and awkward is this drive?
Oh, if I remember right, it's like
Oh.
what 400 kilometers, so it's
It's a long
probably
time. Yeah.
4 to 6 hours of driving and awkward.
Oh no. Nero will break the awkward at least a couple more times by announcing again that she's hungry.
The third time Java would insist that you pass the snacks.
You can't. I don't want to eat radiation.
But if we
That's
can take
probably not bad.
the radiation for like a long time, then surely the rice cakes can last like 10 seconds. Does it take you longer than that to eat a rice cake?
No.
Okay then. And you can eat anything, right?
I don't know if I can eat radiation.
Joff was very sure that he would be fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
I said Java is very sure that he would be fine eating a rice cake quickly.
I mean, that's kind of his point. Like, if he's so confident that he can do it, he's sure that Nero can. She ate a toilet paper roll with hot sauce on it. Like, he's definitely trying to sell this to her because he obviously can't get to Bob without stopping the car.
Okay. Yeah. I
Fisher
think.
would turn the comms on.
Yeah. This third time when Java pushes, Nero finally says, "Stop the car."
The whole point is not to stop the car. Just pass the snacks.
When if Java slows down at
I don't
all,
think he
He's
is.
not going to.
okay. I was just gonna say Sarah would turn her comms back on.
I'm not passing Bob. Fine, I'll get them anyways. Nero will, daring do, try to unload rice cakes from Bob while the vehicle is moving. This will involve her climbing out of her seat and probably along the side or over the top.
They're in the helmet, behind the visor. I put them on top so they won't get crushed.
Give me an exert check with dexterity for Nero.
All right.
I'll need you to tell me the result.
17.
Yeah. Oh man, just by the skin of her teeth. Yeah, she climbs up. She's able to easily balance, holding on, kind of bracing herself against the roll cage, kind of up on kind of on top of the back row of the headrests essentially, and is bent over and can unscrew the unfasten the helmet and lift the visor, poke around in the suit.
Okay, she pulls 2 rice cakes out, screws the visor back on as quickly as she can, and safely-ish, but also quickly flumps back into her seat and pushes one of the rice cakes up beside Java's head and starts nomming hers down.
It's at this moment that Avery realized a mistake has been made.
Avery or Java?
Avery. So this helmet has to be unscrewed?
No, I was you had said it was just in the visor, so now the visor can be lifted by itself.
Okay, cool. Then
I
Java
imagine
just like
from the
flips the visor
outside, it probably needs to be unscrewed, but Java could probably lift like a face shield.
Yeah, then okay. Then he just tosses the face shield up, throws the thing in his mouth, and shuts it again, pulling it into his mouth with his teeth. Like a professional, because he's probably done this before, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he has considerable experience eating through the visor of a vac suit, and this is not that different.
Yeah. And suitably scared of the chance of eating irradiated food, even if it's only out for 10 seconds, Nero scarfs it down. Does did anybody even realize she was up by the time she got back?
Probably not.
Is Saoirse gonna say anything to being handed this food and Java just consuming it?
Wait, so did he nudge her because her eyes were closed? She was like
Oh.
sitting in the seat when he
I mean,
tried to hand it to her.
Oh no! Only Java was handed a rice cake.
Yeah, I don't know if she would notice him like reaching around to grab it.
Would it jostle her? Like, how tight of quarters are we talking here, Ben? Hello? Oh no, didn't.
Oh, is this when he's taking 5? I thought he'd already done it and come back.
Sorry, I was
Where's Ben?
still muted. You were asking how tight it is. I mean, once Java was moving out around quite a bit, it wouldn't necessarily have jostled her. I mean, it would have definitely, being the one sitting next to Nero, we definitely noticed her climbing up over the back. But no, Saoirse's probably unfazed unless they specifically went to nudge her.
Well, you probably hear over the comms Java just crunching.
Oh man.
Well, she had turned off comms.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I mean,
she's
I
like
know.
muted and deafened. Nice.
Oh, I know. Everyone else does.
Yep.
Oh boy.
The delightful
He-
duet of crunch, crunch, crunch.
Over the comms too. He'd be like, Nero, mute yourself. That's loud.
This is the best family road trip ever.
Yup.
All right, so do we retrieve any drone footage, camera footage, whatever, on our way back, or is that not doable on this route?
Yeah, you can.
Like the trail cam?
Yeah, like the stuff you'd set up.
Yeah.
Saoirse
Let's
would
check it.
actually turn her comms back on just to ask that. She'd be like, and then if she hears the crunching, she'll take a second, but when she realizes what it is, she's just not even going to ask. And then she'll ask Cade if they can pick up the camera.
Sure. So Brother Nick might have to point out where it is again. He hit it pretty well.
I think we pinned its location. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
once we get there on the spot.
Yeah, you would definitely have marked its location on your maps. You got a nav comp, so yeah, you'd.
I mean, it was also Cade being polite about his brother Nick's project.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go and retrieve all the footage. Do you want to leave the camera in place?
Why not?
Yeah, I guess keep it running.
Okay. And you can start skimming the footage. Say it was, since it was intended to be done as like a trail cam. I'd say you guys rigged it up with a a motion sensor of some kind. So your footage is pretty much all the sort of thing you would have expected. Got quite a good bit of just those antelope-like critters prancing around a bit, coming and watering at the riverbank. Also, uh, you notice at one point during the footage, you notice a couple entering the viewpoint of the camera from the direction of the waterfall itself. Uh,
Did you
that
say
are
a couple or a couple of antelope?
a couple of antelope.
Okay.
I heard the other two.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you see a human couple just strolling down the riverbank. Wait, what? No, yeah, a couple of the antelope coming, and they are like drenched, feathers, like matted down with water, and dripping water as they come along across the camera and head off away from the river.
They seemed to come from the waterfall.
Yeah, from the direction of the waterfall.
Hmm.
And just notably different behavior than the others you see. You do also catch footage at one point of a trio of them watering at the riverbank. Then they go alert, exhibiting pretty typical herbivore prey creature behavior, and they bolt. Um,
That's interesting.
Other than that, you got pretty standard bits of antelope watering footage.
Oh.
Saoirse's going to bring up something she's been thinking about. So this Vaughan lady that comes by every now and again, do you think we ought to leave some sort of warning for her about the planet's new inhabitants?
We should try to talk to
Perhaps.
her.
What was said? Sorry.
Nero said we should try to talk to her.
Well, I'm hoping to be off the planet before the next time she shows up.
Then a warning.
Don't know, some kind of sign that we could leave for her to read. Or maybe just simply let the bots know to warn her.
But then he'll have to tell her that he's talked to us.
I don't know if I mind her knowing about me as long as I'm far away from her, but
He didn't want her to know that he was talking to us.
did I miss that? She's gonna look at Cade in sincere question.
Well, the bots said that the Vaughan lady is not the current owner of the tower. I think it's two different people.
That doesn't make sense. Bots also said that this Vaughan lady has been coming around a lot.
She's been visiting for 500 years. I don't know. But her bot says she's not very nice. Whoever she happens to be, so perhaps we don't warn her? And instead we warn the Gikari?
Saoirse's going to think about that for a little bit. That's fair.
Kate, rewind your drone stuff to those two antelopes that walked out of the waterfall.
Okay, we'll rewind the footage to the antelopes walking from the waterfall.
Those were the ones that you said were basically like walking straight and kind of non-prey like, Ben.
Sorry, which one? Oh, I didn't quite catch which was being referred to.
The two of them that walked out of the waterfall is what he was asking about.
Oh,
Oh,
from the
yeah.
direction of it, yeah. She said it from the waterfall, but
Yeah, I was gonna say and just to clarify, when I said prey-like behavior from a couple of them during one segment of footage, I just meant like the suddenly perked up,
Mhm.
heard a predator in the brush and then bolting thing. The rest of them,
it sounded
yeah.
like though that the two that came from the direction of the waterfall were acting differently.
Yeah, I mean they weren't coming up to get water. They were just heading across the path of the camera. All the other ones you saw entered the frame to come and drink water.
Okay, so they didn't look like they were acting strange then.
No, not really.
Okay. Nero watches it again and shakes her head. Okay.
Sorry if that wasn't the clearest.
That's fine.
All right. We're getting close to end of the session here. Any final questions or statements from anyone before we go ahead and wrap?
I think the only question everybody has is, are we there yet?
Amen.
We can end the session on the note of the slingshot rumbling along and the Prudence coming into view in the distance, to the relief of everyone present.
Nero has, since eating the rice cake, mentioned that she's hungry again.
Java only has 5 left. He's not speaking up.
Well, there may be a solution when we get back to the ship.
Oh boy.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Dun, dun, dun.
True that.
Is it courtesy of Space Bay?
We don't have reception for them out here. We gotta wait till we get the interdimensional cable to
I know,
get
I know you were saying space bay, like BAY, like eBay, but my brain heard it space bay, like BAE, and I was like, does he refer to Brother Nick as his space bay now? Like, Brother Nick did say he was available.
If you've got enough rice
Didn't-
cakes, I mean,
We do know that's what drives you now.
right? Just
Yep.
saying.
I found the tweet that came from Ethan.
Nice. All right. Well, let's go ahead and everyone take 1 XP.
Yay!
And if anyone's leveling up, they can go ahead and do so before next session.
Okay. Saoirse's already thinking of what to say, her choice words to Nero when they get back to their own quarters.
Oh no.
Oh, baby.
Right?
Get that on the record. It'll be juicy. All right. All right. Yeah. Favorites. Boop, boop, boop. We have Robert first this time.
Okay, well, it's kind of a double header. The first one that I'm gonna say is my favorite is Java going, "Oh, me next," about having the droids check him too.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I was thinking, Saoirse's embarrassment at the end, the hug and everything.
Saoirse felt like that was a nail in the coffin that she'd almost pried open to make her escape, and it just flamed shut.
All right. Avery then.
I don't know. This one's tough. I kind of lean towards the having the opportunity to do the Me Too thing, but I don't want to just take that one. So I'm gonna say rice cakes are not irradiated after 10 seconds in deep space. We know of.
That we know of. Saoirse's gonna be trying to like low key heal Java and Nero, like to make sure they don't have that. Like basically, the whole crew is going to get biopsionically scrubbed after we leave this planet surface.
But also out of the session proper, Ethan, your GIF game is just on point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, out of character faves are allowed. If you want to make it official.
Yeah, do that as 2. And then 1 is rice cakes are safe, no matter how radiated.
Oh, sorry. You said, what about rice cakes are good no
Eh,
matter how irradiated?
I mean, what you did is fine. I speak nonsense as good as Java does, so
I love.
ignore what I say.
Oh no, you're good. I love the different phrasing that people come up with. Let's see. My favorite thing. Hmm. I think I'd have to say I'll call it the party's um evolving running theory on I don't know, I guess just everything in general. Um and just how it changed a little bit with each new piece of information that you guys got. That was just fun to hear you guys kind of process that out loud. I very much appreciate that kind of out of character back and forth during the in character stuff.
Sus is all heck.
um I think I'll also give a little nod to Narrow's enduring suspicion because that provides a kind of a foil to the prevailing inclinations of everyone else at the outset anyway. Obviously Cade having good reason to be like, oh well yeah, they're immediately identifying and acknowledging me. This is he's got very good reason to to want to go along and find out as much as he can. But yeah, Narrow being kind of the pumping the brakes more than turned out to be necessary. But yeah, still seeing the need there. That was just that. That's it for me. Danielle, what about you?
Um, yeah, it's mine's split twofold as well. I'm gonna say one, the opportunity we had to conversation we did with the bot, like just how much we learned from that was really neat. And then my second favorite definitely goes to Family Road Trip. Just shenanigans. So good. So good.
All right, Dex.
I've got two also. So, not to be written, the background on this one is I've mentioned to a couple people, and I think all of y'all know that Nero gets a little bit has an intellectual inferiority complex where she kind of just shuts down when the smart people are talking.
Mhm.
And that's what had happened when they were in that meeting in the robots room. And so the first part of my fave was Cade during the road trip deliberately reaching back out to include her.
Yeah, that was good.
Always want to leave everybody back in.
Yeah, it was nice for Nero. The second
Mhm.
fave is it was so sitcom-y that as Nero has this like accusation, and Saoirse and Cade are like denying and being so evasive because they don't know what she's talking about. But that appearance of evasion was making her even more suspicious. She was only kind of suspicious, and then she was made more suspicious because they were like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and that looked suspicious. So good luck paraphrasing that one, Ben. But that was my second fave.
Oh my word.
There we go.
The sitcom nature.
Sitcom-esque. I like that word, Ben. That's a good word.
Sitcom-esque dynamic of Narrow's apparent evasiveness.
No, it was Saoirse and Cade's apparent evasiveness, but
Oh, okay.
you almost got it.
I wasn't sure the who the she or the her referred to in that case.
Ah, that works.
Yeah, that was great. Ethan.
And so a sad one. I caught the Java in chat after he got scanned, whispering, "I don't know anything about myself."
Mm,
Let's
Well,
see.
let me clarify that. Like, we were talking about how we don't know anything about the robots or the tower,
Hmm.
and so we can't trust them. And so Java was like, "Oh, I don't know anything about myself."
Oh, that's
Still
even sadder.
sad.
That's even sadder.
I was gonna say that's how I
It's
took it.
like, great, you guys aren't gonna trust me either. Like,
I can't trust myself.
Yeah, that was very aptly timed.
F in the chat for Java.
And then yeah, for the lighthearted or 6-hour family road trip or however long it was in the slingshot.
Yeah, that's about right. It was a doozy. Alrighty then. Well,
Yeah, I feel like anytime we get to thoroughly embarrass one of our party members, everybody wins.
Oh yeah.
true words were rarely spoken.
Just happy to take my turn taking it for the team, I guess. This just generally has been aimed at Java and Narrow. They have borne the brunt of it. So kudos to them, honestly, for not being more cocky and rubbing it in Cade and Seresh's faces.
Yep.
Though I was still totally lost about what Java meant about like you're doing it again. When he was talking about, and he clarified by saying like Narrow has Kareem. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm tired. It's probably really obvious. Sorry, everyone.
I thought it was
Maybe
funny.
maybe she'll have to ask him later, like, what did you mean I was doing it again? What do you mean? What specifically do you mean I was doing?
That had exactly the effect I was going for.
Okay, great. Cool.
Chaos.
Confusion.
Oh my.
Well, thank you
Well,
for the session, Ben. That was
did we
fun.
finish the I was gonna say,
Yeah.
did we finish the stream?
I can
Oh,
end
yeah.
it now if you'd like. All right.
I think so. I think we've finished. Thank you everyone for listening in.